Namandabs, 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 namandabs.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Dharma family service. I hope you're doing well. Did you survive the time change okay? I'm kind of sleepy. Now, Minister's Assistant Arturo Rubio will lead us to silent meditation.
May the wisdom of the all-compassionate one so shine within our hearts and minds that the mists of error and the foolish vanity of self be dispelled. So shall we understand the changing nature of existence and reach spiritual peace. Gasho, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandabs, Namandabs, Namandabs.
We will chant Jusege on page 34 of the service book.
Gagon Chosegan Ishimu Jodo Shigan Fumanzo Seifu Joshoga Gao Muryoko Fui Dai Seshu Fusai Shobingu Seifu Joshoga Gashi Jobundo Myosho Chojipo Kukyo Mishomon Seifu Joshoga Ryokujin Shonen Joe Shubongyo Shigumu Jodo Ishoten Inshi Jinriki Endaiko Fusho Musaido Shoujo san kumyo Kosai shuyakunan Kaihi chi egen Meshikon moan Eisokusho akudo Zudatun sen shumon Koso jomanzok iyoro jipo nichigatsu shujuki tenkon fugen ishu kai hozo kose kudoku ho Jodai Shuchu Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai Butsu Gusoku Shutoku Hon ガネ出場マン得意三害よ女仏無下地中田済み不詳願学エリ都市最小村志願役か大勢の感動国書店人東鎮妙家ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがんにしくどく平等性才どんぼ大心お嬢あんらこ合唱ナモアミダ仏ナモアミダ仏ナモアミダ仏ナマンダブズナマンダブズナマンダブズ
Please stand for the recitation of our pledge on the insert. Breaking out of myself, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Now putting my I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namam Davus, Namam Davus, Namam Davus. Please be seated. Next, Kimberly Kruse will present us with her Dharma School message.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm glad everyone remembered to turn their clocks forward. I've been thinking about this, of course, trying to get here early and be prepared, but that meant okay, I'm gonna have to set my alarm for 6, and hopefully it's the right 6 a.m. So today, I'm gonna talk about compassion and empathy. So our Dharma School theme for this year, as we've heard throughout the year, is compassion. And empathy is although it's very similar, it's slightly different than compassion. I think, I want to say it was Smitty Sensei had given a talk a few months ago about each of them. So what is compassion? So the word compassion can be broken down into two parts. So together and suffering. So compassion literally means to suffer together. So it means recognizing the suffering of others and then taking action in hope to help those in need. And I even pulled the dictionary.com definition because, of course, you know, as soon as we Google it, the very first thing that usually pops up is that dictionary.com definition. So it's a feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for another who is stricken by misfortune, accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate that suffering. So can you think of a time that you showed compassion to someone else? Sometimes it might be difficult to think of something. Hopefully, you know, sometimes it's just we see someone who is in need of help or someone who might just need that care, and we automatically react to try and find some way that we can give. Or can you think of a time that you've received compassion from someone else? Maybe some time that you had some kind of pain, you were in some kind of pain, and someone else reached out to work with you and help you and hopefully get you past that. So also empathy. So what is empathy? Empathy is very similar, but it's the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. So like emotional empathy, I think, is what we think of a lot of times. Empathy is not necessarily a word that we use in our everyday life. I think especially as kids, we don't really think of it, but we probably do a lot of it. We probably do empathize with people quite a bit. You know, when you see someone who's in tears and you kind of feel that as well, that's a lot of times that's the empathy where we want to reach out and we can feel what those people are feeling. So emotional empathy is described as the ability to sense other people's emotions, coupled with the ability to imagine what someone else might be thinking or feeling. So I have some examples of compassion and empathy. If you want to raise your hand, I guess, when you see the picture, hopefully we can, hopefully they're recognizable things to both kids and adults. I know, I'm a kid inside, I guess that's part of it too. So can anyone tell me what movie this is? Cinderella, yeah. So the classic Cinderella, I'm sure that a lot of the younger ones probably remember some of these new versions of it. I think there's multiple versions of Cinderella from Disney. So this is Disney's Cinderella. And this is a scene where Cinderella is with the fairy godmother. You know, Cinderella is suffering through, she's kind of like the maid for her stepmother and her two stepsisters, and not just put to work to do everything, but she's also up in the attic, stored up in the attic, like often locked in the attic, and with very little given to her. And the fairy godmother appears after her dress that she made with the mice and the birds and all of these other animals. She used one of her old dresses, and they all put it together to make it into this beautiful gown. And then her stepsisters tore it all apart, and she was in tears, and the fairy godmother appears. So she appears, and she helps Cinderella through it, and that's where we see the magical transformation into the beautiful ball gown that she wears. And she goes off into the coach that is drawn by, I think it was mice. I know, I remember the dog was the driver. So I have another movie. Oh, sorry, that was Cinderella. Can anyone tell me what movie this is? Frozen. I saw that so many times when Juliana was little. Over and over again. So Frozen. This scene, does anyone know who this is? Who's in here? That's Elsa and Anna. And does anyone remember what happens in this scene? I don't know if you can tell. So they're in the ice castle that Elsa had made. So Elsa ran away. She was so scared of herself and the harm that she could do to anyone around her because she couldn't control her powers. So she ran away from home, and she ran up into the North Mountain, I think it was. And she had this large staircase made of ice, and she used ice to make her entire castle. But it was really that she went kind of in hiding because she was afraid. She was so afraid of hurting her sister, hurting all the people of Arendelle. And so, but her sister really wanted to show how much she cared and wanted to show her that they could make it through it together if they worked, like that she would be there to support her. Up, yes, the movie Up. So this is, I had to look this up. I couldn't remember the names. So Mr. Carl Fredricksen and Russell, so they went on their little adventure, right? So Mr. Fredricksen, he lost his wife, who he had grown up together. They were childhood sweethearts, I would say, because they would play together, and then it turned into, they fell in love and they got married. And they had this whole dream together to go off to this special place. And Russell kind of just ended up there. But part of it is he's wearing his little Boy Scout uniform, right? So his uniform is, so part of what he was there for was to, let me help you across the street. I'm supposed to earn this badge. And so it was almost that was really driving his driving force to, I want to help you. But throughout the movie, they formed this relationship because they went off in his house. So there were these balloons that all filled up, and it lifted up his house, and they went off to something falls. I can't remember the name of it. But it was, so it was just the two of them. But they went on this little adventure. They discovered things together. They grew together. Even though they were completely different ages, it didn't matter. It was just they had formed this relationship. So much so that even at the end, even though Mr. Fredricksen was this grumpy old man at the beginning, at the end of the movie, because Russell's dad was often busy, he went and he earned his badge, and usually the parents are there to accept it with him and help pin that badge on their sash. Well, Mr. Fredricksen showed up, so then he could be there for him, to support him in that way too. So even though Russell was sad at the end, when he didn't see his dad there, but Mr. Fredricksen was there, and they had this close relationship that he kind of helped fill that void too. So I have a couple more. Anyone know this movie? Finding Nemo. And often, a lot of these Disney movies, I find, right at the very beginning, there's always something so tragic that hits. And it grabs us to say, it kind of pulls at your heartstrings because it's just so sad. So Nemo was born with, shortly after he was born, before he even came out of the egg, it was just him and his dad, because they lost his mom and all of his siblings. All the other eggs were eaten by another fish. So this scene here, I don't know if anyone remembers this. Does anyone recall? Yeah, so thank you, Trisha. So this is Gil, the one in the dark blue and white stripes, and they're stuck in a fish tank in the dentist's office. Right, and that's Nemo that's stuck in the little tube, so it's where all the water circulates through. But Nemo wants to get back to his dad, right? He's away from his dad. So, and Gil remembers a time in which he was in the ocean, long ago. And so he was, even though he wasn't going to be able to get out of there himself, and it's something that he was so used to being there, he wanted to do whatever he could to help Nemo so that way Nemo can get back to his dad. And then this movie is Inside Out. I don't know if anyone recognizes this or has seen this movie. I have a little video clip, so I'll play that really quickly.
My rocket! Wait! Bradley and I were still using that rocket. It still has some strong power left. Who's your friend who likes to play? No! Riley can't be done with me.
Hey, it's gonna be okay. We can fix this. We just need to get back to headquarters. Which way to the train station?
I had a whole trip planned for us.
Hey, who's ticklish, huh? Here comes the tickle monster. Hey, Bing Bong, look at this. Oh, here's a fun game. You point to the train station and we all go there. Won't that be fun? Come on, let's go to the train station.
I'm sorry they took your rocket. They took something that you loved. It's gone.
All we had left of Riley.
I bet you and Riley had.
God, we had breakfast twice that day.
Sadness.
Sounds amazing. I bet Riley liked it.
Oh, she did. We were best friends.
Yeah, it's sad.
I'm okay now. Come on. The train station is this.
So that scene was Bing Bong. So Bing Bong was the one with the really long trunk, the pink one. That was her imaginary friend, and they were so sad because it was that moment in which it's almost like a little girl that was growing up and then not believing anymore, trying to get past and mature, and part of that was no longer having this imaginary friend. So Bing Bong was so sad because part of, slowly she was forgetting. But sadness and joy, that's the thing that I love about this, is that they're really talking about kind of the emotions that we go through, or maybe are almost in our head. So even though joy was well, I'm just gonna act all goofy and hopefully you'll just forget about it. But sadness was empathizing with Bing Bong to say, okay, well, yes, this can make you really sad. And just sitting there listening and talking and just being there for someone can really help someone get through a hard time too. Okay, so some examples, what can we do? And maybe it's already things that we do every day. So we can encourage a friend. Maybe it's a friend who's too afraid to try and play basketball because they've never played it before. Or we can take in a stray dog, not without your parents' permission. Help someone carry their groceries, or, sometimes it's something falls on the ground and someone needs help picking it up. So even just little things that we can do just to help someone, just to kind of show that we just simple acts of kindness even. Help the homeless, hold open the door for someone. Maybe someone isn't able to, or they have their hands full. Help our parents get dinner ready, or clean the house and keep it clean, keep your room clean. Or just being there for someone, actively listening to them. And from my perspective, would be helping a very tall person pick up the can of soup on the bottom shelf that they can't reach. Or that's more of a short person joke, because I was with Juliana at the grocery store and we were trying to get, I think it was a can of Crisco at the very top, and of course that's kind of heavy. Oh, maybe it was a cornstarch. We did that both in the same day, but neither of us can reach it. And of course, I'm looking back and forth, and this woman locked eyes with me, and she's like, "Can I help you with that?" I mean, otherwise we probably would have, I don't know that I could carry Juliana enough, lift her high enough to grab it. But there's simple things that we can do in our day-to-day too. That actually concludes my talk today. But if everyone can join me in Gasho, I have this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. You cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the lovely, lovely message on compassion. We all enjoyed the video clips, and it was wonderful. Thank you. Okay, please stand for the Gatha. I am a link in the golden chain on page 116. Tricia will accompany us with music. Please be seated. Now it's time to celebrate March birthdays. So if you birthdays in March, please come get you gift. There are a lot of nice gifts here, and you can have more than one. Hi, Roger.
Most Buddhist of things.
Okay, would you tell me your name?
Roger Kopic, aka Mr. Climate T-shirt.
Okay, Mr. Climate T-shirt, when's your birthday?
March 12th.
Happy birthday. Okay, now we're going to sing Happy Birthday, Dharma. Are there any announcements?
The Little Kids Can Do Big Things donation drive continues this week and through the rest of the month. The pre-K through third grade class is accepting word search puzzles, crossword books, markers, crayons, and board games, and coloring books, all in new condition. We have a box that is located in front of the office for you to drop off your donation, which will go to the Ronald McDonald House. If you have any questions about our event, please see Mr. Greg Yanakura.
The Southern District Junior YBL is having their annual Obon t-shirt fundraiser. This year's design is created by our Junior YBA member Cassidy and features a clever design along with the dates of the Southern District Obons. Funds raised from the t-shirts help to offset costs for Southern District Cabinet Conference registration fees, ministers' accommodations, snacks at conference, promotes Obon hopping because of the dates of Southern District are on the back of the t-shirt. And t-shirts are $20. Pre-order now until March 31st and see any Junior YBA member to order. Thank you for your support.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lorene Ota. I'm part of the Temple's WellCare Committee. Two things. Mrs. Miyako Tachiki is celebrating her March 16th, 100th birthday this Saturday. So we have a nice orchid and a card. So I think it would be lovely if people from the Temple, even if you don't know her, sign her card. Second thing is we have some very kind person, she works at Trader Joe's, donates flower bunches about every 2 weeks or so. And so we take a few for WellCare, but we want people to please take the bunches. I put them out in the dining room today, but look for them again. Please take them out of the refrigerator. We need to clean it up. So look for these flower bunches. And while I'm up here, I'm also part of BWA. May 4th, we're going to have this really wonderful English tea. And it's not just for ladies, it's for ladies, gentlemen, children, teens. And we've got very yummy food. We're like chicken pot pie, little ones, and we may have some lemon squares and cucumber sandwiches, things like that. The food's going to be really wonderful. It's only $35 a ticket. There's some forms down in the office, or I think our treasurer, well, no, she's not here. But look for that May 4th. We want lots of people to come, and it's to benefit the Honganji in Lahaina, Maui, so for a good cause, and have a good time. We're going to have lots of little raffle baskets or something like that. Thank you.
One last reminder, one last announcement. Just a reminder that we're having the second annual Tostada Bingo Fiesta fundraiser. which will take place on April 7th, 12, after the service. And for 13 years old and up, it will be $12. That includes 2 yummy tostadas, dessert, beverage, and 5 games of bingo. And then for children, 12 under, $5, and that includes 1 tostada, dessert, beverage, and 5 games of bingo. You need to order your package if you're planning on attending. The due date is March 28th to ensure your reservation, and there is a form on our website where you can make your reservation, and donations are being accepted for bingo prizes, so that can be anything, pretty much like gift cards, baskets, children's books and games, monetary donations, etc. And the proceeds will benefit the Honganji Mission of Hawaii Maui Wildfire Relief Fund. And also, remember that you can make donations for the Neighbors Helping Neighbors drive. We're supporting the San Diego Food Bank, so you can bring food donations through March 23rd. Thank you.
Now I want to thank the following people for helping with today's service. Thank you, Sharon, for ringing kanshou. Thank you, Kimberly, for presenting the Dharma School message. Thank you, Teresa, for playing music. Thank you, Arturo Rubio's family, for setting up the birthday gifts. Thank you, Brevin, Ken, and Ricky for audio-visual support. And thank you, Arturo, for leading the service and giving us the adult Dharma message in advance. Dharma school students are now dismissed to Oshoko and then walk to their classrooms. We will start with Bandana and Tisarana on page 96.
Please join me from the top where it says leader. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So. Kasho Amidabetsu. Namo Amidabetsu. Namandabs, namandabs, namandabs.
Minister Assistant Arturo Rubio will give us his adult Dharma message.
Good morning, everyone. Please join me in Gasho. The Dharma gates, each distinct, number 84,000, but the keen blade for severing ignorance, its effects, and the karmic causes of suffering is the name of Amida. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandabs, Namandabs, Namandabs. In this passage, extracted from the collected works of Shinran Shonin quotes Shantao, metaphorically stating that there are innumerable paths to enlightenment, but that the surest way to sever the delusion and blind passions is the practice of the Nambutsu, saying the name of Amida. Delusion prevents us from seeing life as it truly is, but it also prevents us from seeing ourselves as we truly are. As you know, last year several of us traveled to Japan for the Shinran Shonin joint celebration. We had a wonderful time and we were able to attend several services at the Nishi Honganji Temple while in Kyoto. During one of those services, someone took a picture of me while I was chanting and later on texted it to me. There I was, wearing my commemorative Montoshikisho, hands together in Gasho, also sporting the brand new Onenju I had just purchased at the Honganji bookstore. Then it dawned on me. I thought, hey, I have that much gray hair? I knew I had some gray hair, but for many years, I had convinced myself that what I saw every morning while I brushed my teeth and my hair was light hitting my head at some weird angle. There's a small window above the shower, which is to my left, and then a light bulb up on the ceiling above me, and then a fluorescent light just above the mirror in front of me. So yeah, I thought it was this weird combination of different types of light hitting my head from different angles, creating this weird glare or light bouncing off my hair. But no, it's just that I have a lot of gray hair. As simple as that. Other people have known this for years, but me, nah, I've got some gray hair here and there, but not a lot. Nope, that's delusional. Now, raise your hand if the first time you heard your recorded voice, you thought it sounded really weird. It may have been a long time ago, before cell phones and voicemail and such technology. In my case, as a kid, I was playing around with a tape recorder. I recorded it myself and listened to it. I thought, is that really how I sound? Is that really my voice? Even just hearing yourself speak doesn't truly represent reality. Your brain processes sound waves going from your mouth to your ears, but also amplifies your voice through tiny bones inside your ears and bone conduction from one ear to the other. So there is no way that you're going to hear your voice the same way others hear it. or how you hear it in a recording. These are very simple and somewhat silly examples, but it truly is difficult to see ourselves exactly the way we are. Our eyes and ears may deceive us, and our ego may create a self-image that doesn't correlate with reality. You may see yourself as this compassionate bodhisattva, but your significant other may see you as a total jerk. Imperfect beings that we are, we don't stop at false views of ourselves. As we interact with the external world, we also create in our minds situations, expectations, or outcomes that are completely detached from reality. Some time ago, we installed new flooring in our bedroom. Just before doing that, my wife decided to get rid of her old vanity, thinking that she could get a new one once the flooring was done. So afterwards, she sees this nice modern-looking vanity on Amazon. She tells me to measure the empty space where the old vanity used to be and make sure the new one will fit. I guess I took things too literally. I checked the specs of the new vanity, measured the width of empty space with my measuring tape, and said, yeah, it'll fit. So the new vanity gets ordered. A big box arrives afterwards, and then last Thursday, I finally had some time to start assembling it. I opened the box, and it's got a dizzying amount of wood pieces, screws, and other accessories. I probably completed about half of the assembly process on Thursday, and everything seemed okay. I decided to finish it yesterday, and I was probably about 90% done when we noticed that something didn't seem right. The vanity seemed a little small. It seemed too small. I decided to just finish it, and afterwards we realized that this thing, from a size perspective, both width and height, was better suited for my 6-year-old granddaughter than my wife. So, lesson learned. Next time, buy locally, where we can actually see the furniture, or at least pay better attention to the dimensions if I still buy the furniture online. This is just another silly example, but it still points to how easily we fall into traps where what we expect from a communication standpoint, or project, or life in general, doesn't correspond to what we've built up in our minds. This is delusion, plain and simple. This shows us that sometimes we tend to focus on one single aspect of a situation or problem rather than considering it in its entirety. This is like the tale of those blind men who were trying to describe an elephant by touching only one part of its body. But let's think about this. Do we really know our true self? Are we capable of seeing ourselves the same way others see us? Are we capable of understanding ourselves? Understanding why we react the way we react in certain situations or when communicating with others. I'd like to read a passage from the book Shin Buddhism, Bits of Rubble Turned into Gold by Taitetsu Uno. And I quote, "Awakening to the true self has been the central quest in the Buddhist life, succinctly stated in the classic statement by the Zen master Dogen. To study the Buddha Dharma is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be confirmed by 10,000 things." The focus here is on forgetting the delusory self. We think we know ourselves, when in fact, the darkness of ignorance enfolds us, and we fail to see the self. Thus, the first step in pursuing the Buddha Dharma is to become freed from the false, delusory self and to let the true self be confirmed by the 10,000 things. End of quote. What do we understand by Dogen's last sentence? To forget the self is to be confirmed by 10,000 things. To me, it tells me that I would need to analyze how I affect everything that surrounds me, how effects are linked to me being the cause. But I also think it suggests that to forget myself, I would need to truly see myself as others see me. But to confirm that, I would have to ask everybody what they think of me and ask them to be brutally honest. Are we all ready to do that? Are we all ready to see ourselves as others see us? And we're not talking about asking someone if we have a lot of gray hair or a weird voice or if we're good at following directions. If you could go to each person you know and tell them, forget I'm your spouse or your parent or your sibling or your best friend or just an acquaintance. Be brutally honest. What do you think of me? What am I terrible at? What do I urgently need to improve? Tell me of a time when you felt I failed you, when I could clearly have done better, when you felt ashamed of me for some reason. Deep down, I think most of us are not ready to put ourselves in that position. We would probably end up with a bad case of depression or low self-esteem if we were suddenly bombarded with constructive criticism from everybody. Most of us need that gap, that space that exists between our view of ourselves and what everybody probably sees in us. Sometimes we expect too much from others, hold them to standards they can't live up to. Stands to reason that sometimes it's us who are held to unrealistic standards. We are just simple human beings. But that is the beauty of Jodo Shinshu. Our practice is the Nembutsu, saying the name, Namo Amida Butsu, knowing that we are embraced just as we are, with all of our imperfections and all of our fears, never to be forsaken. It is a practice meant precisely for simple beings, immersed in delusion and blind passions. Please join me in Gasho. The Dharma gates, each distinct, number 84,000, but the keen blade for severing ignorance, its effects, and the karmic causes of suffering is the name of Amida. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandabs, Namandabs.
Thank you, Arturo, for the wonderful message on how we cannot see ourselves, how we can't see true self, or we can't see the reality. Please stand for the recitation of three treasures on page 91. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we altogether absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we altogether be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even though ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us truly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Please remain standing for the Gatha Ondokusan on page 128. Please be seated. Please put your hands together for closing meditation. We are what we think. All that we are arises from our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. This concludes today's service. Thank you for coming today. I'm glad to see everybody. Have a great week, and please offer incense before you leave.
And if you have any questions about the service or the Dharma talk, and especially if you're a first-time visitor, definitely come forward. I'll stick around for a little bit to have a chat if necessary. Thank you.